Now I'm going to show you how to use count ups and count downs. I'm going to show you how to use the output bits for those particular instructions, and I'm going to show you how to actually work with them together. All right. Now, one of the coolest things is that timers and counters are almost identical in a way. Now, when I say they're almost identical, they do both count something. One is counting time, while the other is counting a true rung. The counter is counting every time a rung is true, okay? They both have outputs, output bits, you know, those timer dones. There's a counter done. They also have counter enables. They have a count up enable, a count down enable, and then they actually have an overflow and underflow, which we're not going to deal with very much because that's a little bit out of the realms of what we need to do in this class, and you're not going to see that very often. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to put together a basic count up circuit with a reset. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've already got my count up switch here. I'm just having a hard time remembering all my addresses, so I've just kind of put a few in there. I'm going to go to my counter tab. I'm going to grab the count up. See, it's CTU. Now we're going to go ahead and address this as a C5:0. I'm not going to name it because there's no point. It's not actually doing anything. I'm going to put a 5-second preset on it, and then it's going to have an accumulated here. Now, one thing I want to point out before we get too far is the addressing of C5. It's over here to the left in our data table. You can see all of our different bits that come from this. You guys already kind of have learned about this, so I don't really feel like I'm going to need to spend a lot of time showing you how the table has ones and zeros in it, depending on how the condition of our counter, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close this, but if you want to look at this, maybe it'll help you. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and shut that. So what's going to happen is every time this rung becomes true, this accumulation will go up 1 point or one number, all right? Now, the problem with a circuit like this or a system like this is there's no way to reset it or to bring it down or count down. So we're going to use a reset. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another button. We're going to put this one here, and then we're going to go back to our timer tab, grab the reset, and I'm going to go ahead, and I believe I can address this one as I:0/0. Yep, so there's my reset. And again, I'm just going to code or address this one as a C5:0, and we're done. All right. So now after I hit, 20 or something like that on this, even though it's preset to 5, it'll still let you keep counting, okay? So that's an important thing to know. It'll even go into negative numbers if you're counting down. So let's go ahead and download this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my count up button, and we're going to see that it's going to start accumulating right here. We're going to keep going, and then it's going to hit 5, and it's going to have a done bit happen, but we didn't hook it to anything yet. And I'm just showing you, you just keep on counting, okay? Keep going up and up. So, but I can hit my reset button, and it's going to reset that accumulation back to 0. So now what I want to do, because this is just a very simple system, and there's not a heck of a lot you can do with it, I want to add a count down in here. So we're counting, this one's going to count up, but I want another rung that's just going to count down. So let's go ahead and go offline. We're going to go ahead and insert a rung. I'm going to go ahead and leave my, I'm going to go ahead and leave my reset in here just because we might want to go back and use that later. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a count down button into this. So I believe that one is an I:0/3. Oh, sorry, 3. Yep, my countdown. And we're going to come back here. Notice there's a CTU for count up, and then there's a count down. Now, something that's very important that people get a little bit confused about is these are addressed the same address, okay? Because we're going to use the same integer, let's call it, to in the data table to keep that accumulation. So if one's going up, it's going to count it up, while the other one's going to count it down. So that way we have a number that's controlled by an up and a down, okay? A little bit confusing there. So C5:0, boom. We're going to hit OK. Notice this should come up and actually run right away. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave my reset here, but I'm going to add in some other rungs, and we're going to start using like our done bits and stuff like that, because that's really how you're going to use these counters to do something. So let's go ahead and we're going to put a C5:0/DN. Okay, so what's going to happen with this one, when the when the counters are both done, it's going to turn on our our done bit here. Now, I shouldn't say both counters, because this one won't be done, but the CTU, the count up, it will be done, okay? So that's what this one is connected to. We're then going to throw in a light. We're going to grab this guy right here, and I believe I can do an O:0/0, and it's going to be a green light. All right. So the next thing I want to add in is I want to throw in a CU, which is like it's like an enable bit. What's going to happen is every time the rung becomes true for the up, this one would become true. So maybe and there's a count up and a count down. So this one's just going to be a C5:0/CU. Enter. And I'm going to use this one, and then when we come back, I'm going to go ahead and I want to throw in the count down. So there's a CD, which is just the exact same thing. When the down rung is true, then it becomes true, or it becomes, turns that instruction true, okay? Sorry. Let me go ahead and grab another light just so we can make this thing all work. 0/1. There we go, red light. All right. So let's go ahead and download this, and we can see how it works. So let's go ahead, download. All right, so I'm going to press the up button. I want you to see that this is, I'm sorry, I hit the down button first. Sorry, we go up with this button. This rung is becoming true, so it's counting up, okay? Now, notice the done bit is now finished. It is closed, or it's made my done bit true. It's turned on my green light, all right? Now, I'm going to press the same button, and I'm just going to hold it. Notice that the CU is true. When this rung that is connected to my counter is true, this will be true right here, okay? So my red light is on right now, all right? Now, we do have the countdown, which I want to make sure we talk about a little bit. Every time this rung right here is true that is connected to my countdown, it will count, okay? Now, you can see we can just go back and forth. I don't know what maybe you'd be counting something. Maybe you'd be putting bottles in a rack, and you'd be, counting how many goes in and how many gets taken out every Monday or something like that, okay? Again, we get it this far, and maybe it's the end of the day and we want it to reset. We can have a reset bit right here. Hopefully it's not connected to a button. It can reset both of those, okay? I want to play with the countdown just for a second. I don't really think there's much to explain, but I want to make sure you guys can see it. I'm not sure where you would maybe use it in this class, but you never know, right? Maybe you guys can think of something really cool. So we're going to go and throw here, and we're going to put C5:0/CD, which is the countdown. We're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to hook it to the same red output as this one. We're going to go ahead and download. Now every time I hit the down button, I'm just going to press it. Oh, sorry, that was the up button. Okay, there's the down button. Every time I press the down button right here, this becomes true, meaning this bit that is connected to that becomes true, so the red light's on. All right, same thing if I press the up, this one becomes true because this is the count up bit. As far as counters go, that's kind of it. That's pretty much everything you need to know. We can use these things in a lot of different and complicated ways, and I'm going to make you guys do a few of them for this module, but everything is going to be based on what I've just shown you. You're either going to be using resets, you're going to be using count downs, you might be using, and maybe just a count up and a reset, or maybe just a count down and reset. I don't totally know, okay? But if you have any questions or need help putting one of these together, please let me know. I'd love to help you with them. They're really pretty simple, especially if you understand timers. But if you're a little bit shaky on timers, maybe this is the point where you want to go back and make sure that you are good with timers. Otherwise, just go ahead and keep moving forward on to the next activity.